Our recent Princess cruise was on a Medallion class ship and we really loved it. So here's a basic rundown of a Princess cruise medallion and what it'll mean for you on your cruise. Well before our cruise, we were able to download the Princess app, and that let us upload a picture, put in all our travel information. All of that was organized and done, and then we ordered our medallions. We were obviously on the same booking, but we downloaded the app separately onto each of our phones and each did our own profile, so we each were mailed a separate box. I did talk to people though that like one person would do the entire bookings information and their stuff came combined into one box, but we ended up with each having our own box with our own medallion and whatnot enclosed inside. Alright, so let's open up my medallions. So we did each get our own box, one for me and one for my husband. They're a reasonable size, not too large or bulky. On the side is a nice little pull tab to supposedly open easily. Inside is this smaller white and blue box. It's pretty nice. Nothing too crazy or fancy, but it is of reasonable quality. Fairly sturdy, like this will definitely hold up to getting down to your cruise if you want to bring the whole box with you. Inside, open up a couple little flaps here, and there's the medallion. The medallion is in its own little card here, and it just pops right out. It's got my name here, and then our sail date at the bottom. Nice little princess logo. Looks nice. There is an instruction booklet. Talks about the app, the different apps, the different things you can do with your medallion on board. Ways to wear your medallion, get it around the ship. And then I've got 3 little boxes inside that are labeled with my name. I'm guessing if you booked for your whole party, there might be different names on some of these boxes. I ended up, the way we ordered our sport bands was I ordered mine and my husband's from my account just to kind of make things easier. So I'm guessing that's what one of these boxes are, and we'll have to see what the other 2 have. They're in there fairly snug, but it's not too bad to get them out. This one doesn't have a sticker on it and it is empty, so it's clearly just for packaging purposes to keep things from rattling around. Box number 1 has one of the little cards that a medallion goes into to hang from a lanyard. Trying to open it up without breaking it, I'm afraid, but it seems fairly sturdy so far. Decently thick acrylic sort of plastic, seems fairly sturdy. Box number 2 has the first sports band. The purple band is obviously for me. This does seem to be pretty well made, a decent quality. It's not quite as stiff as, say, a magic band from Disney. It seems a little more soft and movable, so that could be kind of fun for, you know, on those excursions and things that get a little more active. The medallion is clearly magnetic, and that seems to be all that holds it into the band. It doesn't like click or snap into anything. It just has this magnetic quality. It can, as you can see, pop out if it goes downwards and through the band. Not such a big deal probably when you're wearing it, because obviously your wrist will be there. But for instance, I wouldn't just pop my medallion into this sports band and then put the sports band around, say, the strap of my pull bag and sort of rely on that. Honestly, the closure's a little bit weird, but I guess it works. It's fine. It's not too bad. My wrists are pretty small, and this is the smaller size. So if you have any sort of reasonably large wrist, I would not count on the small size fitting you. This is definitely kids or adults with very tiny wrists. Anyone of a normal to larger wrist is definitely not going to fit into the small/medium size sports band. But as you can see, when I'm wearing it, I can poke the medallion down and it doesn't fall out. If I jam it and smack it around a little bit, it doesn't seem to too easily want to come out. So in the final box, we have my husband's black sports band. Not a big deal there, just literally the same thing in black. Now back to the fob. In that box, there was also this lanyard. It seems fine. I am probably not going to use this a lot. I don't like the really narrow lanyards. I feel like they cut into my neck. And it's white, and my purple hair, when it gets wet, tends to bleed color. So anything white is usually not a good idea for me. As I said, every medallion comes with this little clear case to hold the actual medallion if you so choose on a lanyard. It pops open pretty easily if you just separate the two layers from the top here. Then the medallion actually just slips inside and you can close it back up. What I personally did most of the time was I took off most of my lanyard and I just used this clip section. First of all, it's really nice because it is the spring-loaded, so I could clip it to my outfit and then usually just ignore it, but if I did need it to get scanned, like, you know, getting on or off the ship, it was already like there, out and about, conveniently located. I could just grab it, scan it, let it go, and keep on moving. I didn't have to stop and be juggling through my bag or anything when I have all this stuff and people are behind me and everybody wants to get back on the boat. So I found this super convenient. This lanyard actually came from Walmart, and I think they might still have very similar, if not the exact same thing. So if you find one that's spring-loaded like this, I found it super convenient and very nice. It's also very nice, like I said, on the back it has this nice little clip. So I just sort of clip that onto my outfit, usually, you know, like my neckline or something, maybe like a waistband if I had anything. Wherever it would sit, it was fine. It was fairly unobtrusive since I took out that blue, but it was always conveniently located that way. Other than a few cruises that I went on when I was a kid, this was only our second cruise and only our first cruise with Princess, so we're by no means experts. But I will say that a year and a half ago, when we sailed with Royal Caribbean on a just sort of a standard cruise, the embarkation process was a lot more complicated. Once you got there, you had to wait in a big long line and then check in like you would kind of with a hotel, but then they had to take your picture, check all your paperwork, go through all of that, print out your little cruise card. It took a while, and I remember waiting in line for quite some time. Then this one was a much, much better experience. So now that you've uploaded all your information and ordered your medallion, and then your medallion came, and you've put it into whatever you want to carry it around with, you've already basically got your cruise ship card. So everything you would have done up to the point of being handed your ship card is already done before you get to the cruise port. So that made embarkation super duper easy. We just talked very briefly to a crew member who scanned our medallion and then verified that the picture that popped up looked like us and looked like our ID, and then we were free to just walk onto the ship. At this point, the medallion takes the place of what would have been your cruise card before. It's everything you would have used a cruise card for, now in this little convenient shape. Anytime you make a purchase on board that isn't included, such as like a specialty coffee or a margarita by the pool or a souvenir in one of the shops, whatever, you use your medallion to make the purchase. It's very convenient. It was right there. I didn't have to worry about taking your wallet with me around the ship or anything like that. It was boom, right there with me all the time. It's also the key to your stateroom, which, yes, the cruise card also did that, but this was definitely an upgrade in our book. For one thing, since it is linked to your door and they have sensors in them, as you approach your cabin, usually by the time you actually get to your door, it was already unlocked. It was a little sporadic, and being the nerds that we are, we definitely played around with it. For instance, sometimes you'd be walking back to your room and you'd be still like 10 feet down the hallway and you would hear the door click and unlock. But other times you would get literally all the way up to the door and you'd hesitate there for a minute and then finally it would unlock. And still other times you'd stand there and you'd wait and you'd wait and it just didn't unlock. So then, no big deal, you just take your little card and you reach out and you tap it to a sensor on the little screen by the door, and then it would unlock every time, no problem. That only happened a couple of times for me, but it definitely did happen, and it did seem a little sporadic, so keep that in mind, but 90% of the time it was definitely very convenient that well before you got to the door, it was already unlocked and ready. You also scan your medallion every time you get on or off of the ship. So that's on embarkation day, and then every port that you get off the ship, and then when you come back, they scan your medallion. And the crew members have a little tablet connected to the sensor, so you scan it, it beeps in, and then your little picture you had uploaded, it pops up on their screen, and they can verify that it's you. The port officials also would check it. They didn't have the scanners that the Princess Cruises did, but they would check it next to my license, that the picture on my license was me, and that the names matched from the medallion to my license. Another fun thing with the medallion is that you could order, say, a drink, and wherever you are on the ship, they will bring it to you. So if you're chilling by the pool and you just really don't feel like going and standing in line by the bar for a margarita, no biggie, pull out your phone, open the app, select your drink, and they will bring it to you. Or maybe you're at the theater a little bit early and you got some good seats and you're kind of tired from dinner and the excursions of the day or whatever. You don't want to have to go and hunt down a drink, but you still got some time before the show. No problem, order a drink. They will bring the drink to the theater to you. Wherever you are on the ship, they will bring you whatever you ordered, and it's all tied to this, which was super duper convenient. And as an extra fun tidbit, your first drink that you order through the app and have delivered to your medallion is going to be free per person on the ship. So we definitely took advantage of that and made sure that we each got at least one drink ordered on our account. So hey, that was 2 free drinks, why not? Now, it's pretty standard on a cruise ship to have the maps and the deck plans of each floor next to the elevators and the stairs, so that if you're going up and down all these stairs and you're like, where am I? What am I going? And you're kind of lost, you can check real quick and be like, oh, okay, I'm on this deck and I need to go up 2 or whatever. Where the medallions come in handy is that all of those are screens on the Medallion class ships, big TVs, and you can actually scan your medallion to it and it becomes interactive. So you could use those screens to hunt down anyone on your booking that you couldn't find. Say my husband and I got separated because we were going looking for different snacks or something and now I don't know where he is. Anything like that, very convenient. You could also just search for restaurants or entertainment or different things on the ship, and then the actual screen would actually map out for you how to get from where you are to that location. And a couple of the decks had massive screens that you could even do a little bit more on. There were various sort of like app type games. We didn't really mess with that too much other than to show you that it is an option. But I guess if you were on a sailing that had a lot more kids, or if you had kids in your cabin with you or whatever, I could see it maybe getting a little more use. But I don't think, other than us messing around with it that one time, I don't think I actually saw anybody playing games on the screens at any point. I think it would be a little awkward for an adult to sort of be playing some Bejeweled or word search kind of game in front of the elevators with people coming and going constantly. I don't know. It doesn't really make a ton of sense to me, but if you, again, had kids on the sailing, okay, I guess I could see that being a little bit more needed. Now, as much as we love the medallions, the system does have a few hiccups in it. For instance, one day my husband had gotten up early and he went ahead on up to the deck to grab us a couple of extra chairs while I was getting ready. Great, except I didn't know exactly where he was going to end up, just a general vicinity. So I was like, great, I'll use the medallion and I'll track him down that way. Not so great. From a bird's eye perspective, it shows you pretty accurately where the other person is, but pretty much every time we checked it, it'd be off a deck or 2 in height. So it gives you a general vicinity on where on the ship somebody is, but the tracking seems to be just a little bit off usually. One issue that I know a lot of people have with the medallions is the whole idea of Princess tracking your movements. I overheard several conversations where people were not happy with that. They were going to just leave their medallions in their room the whole time. They didn't want Princess knowing where they were all the time, and I kind of get that. But at the same time, I know, like, on land all the time, you're being tracked with your phone and all that anyway. And even on the ship, you're under such heavy surveillance. There's so many cameras. If Princess wants to know where you are and track your movements, they already can. So I didn't have a problem with that, neither did my husband, but I do know that was an issue for a lot of people, so it might be an issue for you. But then considering how inaccurate the tracking seems to be, I'm not sure it's a big deal anyway, so take that as you will. So other than the fact that some people aren't interested in being tracked all the time, and the fact that the tracking seems to be less than accurate anyway, we were a little disappointed that the magnets weren't stronger. We didn't feel super secure with that in, say, the sports band. I don't know with the other accessories that Princess sells. I don't know if those are magnetic as well. There's various clips and pendants and bracelets that you can buy. I assume that they just sort of magnetically snap in also. If so, I also would not be super comfortable wearing my medallion in one of those because, like I said, with the right jar or pressure, the medallion can pretty decently pop out. That may or may not be an issue for you. It depends, I guess, on how active you're going to be, but we didn't feel super secure with the amount of magnetic strength in the medallions. Overall, we were really happy with the medallions. It reminded us a lot of the Magic Band concept from Disney World, so if you're familiar with how those work, you're going to ease really easily into the Medallion class. Have you sailed with a Medallion class? Are you going to in the future? Have any questions or had any problems? Let me know in the comments down below. If you found this video useful, I hope you will give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to like and subscribe because I have plenty of more cruise content coming, as well as my normal sort of arts and crafts sort of content as well. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.